How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the 5, in my opinion, best captaincy choices for Game Week 30. Timo Werner, just over my shoulder, I think he's a very good captaincy option, but he hasn't really delivered the goods for this season. I thought he was going to be the Golden Boot winner. That's obviously not panned out as well. But there's still time for him to necessarily, get where he needs to be and perform the way that we all thought he was going to when he first arrived at Chelsea. He's not on the captaincy list, but we do have a Chelsea player on there as well, and it's probably one that's going to be a bit out there and a bit of a one-week punt. But what we normally do is 4 captaincy picks that are pretty self-explanatory, and then 1 captaincy pick, which is the differential one. Maybe that's the Chelsea one. If you enjoy the videos and you are liking all the stuff that's going on here on YouTube, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn those notification bells on so you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can get up to date with all the different posts that we do over there, and make sure to follow us over on Twitch. We will be back for the deadline stream this Saturday, 5 a.m. EST. We will be live over on Twitch. It's PilotFlame226. Just see the pinned comment down below on this video so that you can check it out when we go live over there. So without further ado, let's see who we have for our Game Week 30 captaincy picks. So the first captaincy choice that we have is pretty obvious this week. It's Harry Kane, 11.6 million in the forward line, 191 points, definitely far exceeding what he did last season. 17 goals. It's the assists, the 13 assists, which is what is really separating him from all of the other premium forwards. 45.7% ownership, got his goal in Game Week 29, in blank Game Week 29, and he has a very good fixture, Newcastle away, and they've also announced the double Game Week fixture for Spurs. They'll be playing Everton and Southampton in 32 as a double, so definitely want to hang on to your Spurs assets. It looks even better and better to free hit in 33. If you do have a lot of City and Spurs that you want to hang on to, you can basically have Spurs for Newcastle. Then I can't remember the fixture in 31. I think it's an okay fixture. Then they have the double in 32. Then they obviously blank in 33, but if you free hit through that, then it's fine. And then they have Sheffield United and I believe Leeds after that break for the Carabao Cup final for them. But yeah, Newcastle away should be quite an easy fixture. Is Son going to be back? If he is, it's definitely going to help out Harry Kane. He's been in much more, potent goal-scoring form. Obviously scored in Game Week 29, scored for England as well with some great movement, cross by Shaw, and he headed it past versus Albania. And I think that kind of, that confidence, he's so involved in, I need to score. If I come off the pitch and I haven't scored, then it's like, kind of a bad day. Similar to how Ruven Nistelrooy and Henry and these sorts of players who are really, really good in their prime in the Premier League. The team could win 4-0. If they didn't score, it was like, the world was ending type of thing. And I think Kane kind of has that vibe when it comes to playing for England, especially. He was like, super pumped up and is definitely wears the armband properly, basically. He leads from the front. Definitely a good captain for England, and definitely a potential future captain if Lloris were to move on for Spurs as well. And I think that it's all about Harry Kane. Newcastle defensively just aren't great. They have still injury woes. Is Callum Wilson going to be back? There's been pictures of him in training. Doesn't mean he's in full training. We're not sure. So maybe there's not as much threat from Newcastle. And I think if Son comes back and they play Bale again, I think that they should have too much for them. And I think that stems from Harry Kane, creating from the center of the park, scoring when he needs to. And obviously he always has that factor of being on penalties as well. So I think Harry Kane's probably the front runner for the captaincy choice this game week. And I wouldn't be surprised if he bagged 1 or 2 versus the Magpies this game week. And the next player we have on our captaincy list this week is Rafinha. Now, you could put Bamford here as well, but I think that Rafinha has been a bit more dynamic. He's created way more chance than anyone else on his team, 11 in the last 4 matches that he's played. And Sheffield United, again, a team that was just recently, completely humiliated, basically. Sacking Wilder, who's, boyhood fan, played for the club, managed the club, which is basically like a dream type of scenario, brought them up to the Premier League where they never thought they could be. And yeah, the team's in a bit of a turmoil at the moment. Is almost certainly going to go down this season. Obviously, still not mathematically out of it yet, but it's most likely going to go down and potentially might not come back up next season. So I think they're pretty much down and out. Rafinha, definitely very good in terms of lethality and creating chances. If he had somebody who can score on a more like consistent basis than Bamford, like hypothetically, if you put Lewandowski up front for Leeds, Rafinha's assist numbers would be probably through the roof, but obviously that's a hypothetical scenario. And he is the man in form, obviously 6 goals, 6 assists on the season. Had he started basically from the beginning and been more integrated into the team, I can easily see that being 10 and 10. Next season, is assuming he keeps his place, stays at Leeds, and continues to develop under Marcelo Bielsa. And I think that, against a team like Sheffield United, for someone who creates so many chances, like Rafinha, they've conceded the most big chances over the last 4 matches, 19 big chances, which is just absolutely insane, with the XG conceded over 10. So, it's not looking good for Sheffield United, and it's at home for Leeds. Rafinha seems like one of the very few players who doesn't really get, kind of thrown off by the, kind of inconsistencies in the pitch, because Leeds had to change basically their grass on their field at Ellen Road because of how bad it got during the winter, and it still hasn't really settled too much. So I think that, and Rafinha is one of the players, he just doesn't seem to fall over or anything like that. He just skips past players like as if he's playing on normal grass and everyone else is playing on ice, basically. So I think Rafinha, obviously coming off an 8-point score in 29, seems to be a very good shout for the captaincy this coming game week. Bamford's also in the conversation as well. So if you're looking for someone outside of Kane, maybe a little bit on the off chance that Sheffield United definitely open up, I think Rafinha would definitely be in and among the goals, and I wouldn't be surprised with a return for him this game week. And the third player on our list, who seems to be on our list basically every week, is Bruno Fernandes. Has Brighton at home in game week 30, 209 points this season. Absolutely outstanding. Didn't play in game week 29 as Manchester United was playing in the FA Cup, which they lost in the quarterfinal to Leicester 3-1. 16 goals and 12 assists on the season for Bruno Fernandes. He's probably going to be the most priced midfielder next season. But I think if United have good fixtures at the start of next season, it's going to be an auto-include in pretty much everyone's teams. And he seems to just be one of these players that may go into like the Luis Suarez type territory, in that you just put the armband on him every week and you're just going to get returns. That's basically how it was when you had Suarez, Sturridge, and Sterling playing for Liverpool in that fantastic front three under the Brendan Rodgers team. But Brighton at home. Brighton defensively, their numbers have looked great, but when they play against bigger teams, it seems to be a bit more inconsistent, or even the teams in the middle of the table, it doesn't really manifest itself into being this super, kind of clean sheet heavy team like Chelsea are now, like City have been pretty much the whole season. And I think that Bruno's always, good for a penalty, a little bit of drama, something like that. I mean, last time it was full time and Bruno Fernandes was kicking a penalty to win the game 3-2, which is, odd to say because of the way the VAR system worked out. But I think that he's someone who's definitely a good shot for the captaincy this game week. I'm looking to potentially bring him into my team this week as well. And I also believe, and I'm not sure if this is true, but I think he is suspended for their next international game for Portugal, which would be their last one, which means that he's not going to play. I think he's supposed to be with the team, but that means he's going to be rested at least for a week, or just under a week in terms of rest days, which is good because he definitely needs it for sure. Him going on international duty was a bit worrying because he just plays every game and he just keeps performing. So maybe the rest does him good, maybe it does him bad. We'll see. But I think Brighton at home, can't really ignore this fixture, and I think his next 4 fixtures are all decent. Spurs not great defensively. Burnley at home should be quite simple there, and then Leeds as well, who opened up and conceded 6 the last time they played Manchester United. So Bruno Fernandes, definitely a good viable shout for the captaincy option this game week. Wouldn't say he's as good as Kane, because Kane's playing obviously a worse defense, and I would say Sheffield United is the same case with Rafinha or Bamford. But I think Bruno Fernandes, probably can't go wrong with Bruno getting a goal or an assist this game week. And the fourth player we have on our list here is Dominic CalvertLewin from the blue side of Merseyside, Everton. He's got 14 goals, 6 assists this season. Very good return for the Englishman. He also scored for England as well during their kind of pretty much comfortable kind of training session style versus San Marino. He has Crystal Palace at home this week, which is a fantastic fixture for him. Crystal Palace in the last 4 matches have conceded the most headed attempts and the most set play attempts. And someone who's pretty good at scoring in the air, at least this season, has been Dominic CalvertLewin. He's been kind of transformed into a one-touch finisher. Obviously, we know he has the size, the aerial ability of on-set plays, as well as just open play as well. And had Digne been fit for more of the season, I think he probably would have been closing in on the 20-goal mark by now as well. And the last time they played Crystal Palace, Dominic CalvertLewin scored in a 2-1 win. So I think he's definitely, got his got the right kind of recipe, as it were, against Crystal Palace. Is obviously going to be at home, where Everton have been struggling a little bit, but that doesn't really put me off if I had CalvertLewin to potentially see him as a captaincy option this week. I think Palace are just in that kind of mode where they're not really going to get relegated, but they're also not going to vie for a European spot, so they're kind of just going to go out there and play the games and kind of just see things out. Obviously, they'll try their best, and they're not going to, concede games to teams. But I think Everton, if they're looking to potentially go for one of those European places, they need to be winning games like this. They need to increase their home form, and it starts with the man up front, CalvertLewin, getting the goals that need to secure them the 3 points. So CalvertLewin, I think, is a very good captaincy shout for this game week, and wouldn't be surprised if he nodded one home from a set piece or a cross in from one of the wide players, or even Luca Digne out on the left flank for this game week. And the last player is our differential captaincy choice for this game week. And I told you to be a Chelsea player on here, but it's the differential one, and that is Marcos Alonso. Currently 5.7 million as a defender. He's got 1 goal to his name this season, and he's 2.5% owned, very lowly owned. And he has 3 great fixtures in a row, playing against teams that are very much down the bottom. This week being versus West Brom at home. Again, a very differential style of pick. He's probably going to play 7 in 10 games, maybe, thereabouts, where if you go with the likes of Rudiger or Azpilicueta, yes, they don't have as much attacking threat, but they're going to get you 8 or 9 out of 10 clean sheets or starts or whatever you want to be looking at, potentially on a fixture-by-fixture basis. Alonso is somebody who is probably not going to play as much, as will be on split time with Ben Chilwell, who did play over the international break as well and looks quite good. But West Brom at home, it's a fixture where I can see Alonso playing, somebody who's got that little bit extra height to defend against West Brom set pieces, as well as you don't really need much pace, to kind of defending against West Brom. They don't have anyone threatening like a Rashford, like a Mo Salah, like a Raheem Sterling. These sorts of players that can really get in behind and cause defenses problems. And I think Alonso is definitely, good value for, like I said, defending against set pieces, which West Brom will definitely try. Long throw-ins, they'll lump the ball up front, they'll try to win corners, free kicks, everything. And I think Alonso is definitely good in both boxes, both defending and offensively. Is it as much of a guaranteed clean sheet this week as it possibly could be? I think so. Chelsea have been so good defensively. West Brom have obviously struggled to score on a week-to-week basis, which is why they're in the relegation zone. And I think that, as a 1-week punt, if you're wildcarding in Game Week 31, I think Alonso could be somebody you go for this week. It's just a free transfer if you have it, and then swap to Azpilicueta or Rudiger or a Mendy or somebody like that for Chelsea in order to, have the security of them starting week in, week out, because Alonso is obviously on the lower spectrum of that. Great 1-week punt. That's why we have him in the differential category here. Wouldn't be surprised if Alonso bangs in a free kick or wins a header on the back post or something like that from a Reece James or Hudson-Odoi cross. Gets himself max bonus points, a goal, clean sheet, a 15-pointer, something like that. Could be a great captaincy pick this week if he starts, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alonso were to show his previous form of previous seasons in this game week. And that's going to do it for our Game Week 30 captaincy picks. If you haven't done so already, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can keep up to date with all the different posts, whether it be a new YouTube video or stuff that we're retweeting in terms of FPL news, like the double game week news that just came out recently for Spurs in game week 32, as well as give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our FPL preview and deadline streams. We will be doing a deadline stream, as I said at the beginning of the video. It will be a pinned comment down below where you can check out when that is. It's 5 a.m. EST. Link is down there as well. PilotFlame226 on all platforms. So make sure to come check us out for the live stream or bring your questions in terms of what transfers you're potentially making, or maybe a wildcard team that you're on for Game Week 30. And if you haven't done so, check out the wildcard video that we did post earlier on last week as well, if you are looking for any tips for that. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.